this is Ranjani. Hope you guys are doing good. We seem to be living in crazy times. Anyway, so I have a really fun review lined up today. It's 3 books which I have for review from one of my favorite genres, sci-fi. And this series has a set of 6 sci-fi novels. It's called Old Man's War series. It's by John Scalzi, and it's so gripping that I listened to the first 3 of the series back to back on Audible. So let's start with this, okay? I did 2 things on my 75th birthday. I visited my wife's grave and then I joined the army. Visiting Kathy's grave was the less dramatic of the 2. So the first 3 novels of this series is called Old Man's War, Ghost Brigades, and The Last Colony. Such a joyride this was. Let's start with the first one, okay? It's called The Old Man's War. And the good news is that humanity has finally made it to interstellar space. The bad news is that the planets which are fit to live in are scarce, right? And the alien races which are willing to fight us for them are common. So what do? We fight. And to defend Earth and to stake our own claim to planetary real estate, we have formed this thing called the Colonial Defense Forces, the CDF. The Earth is not the center of humanity, and it is kept at ignorance while it continues to provide this constant supply of soldiers, right? Which are essentially older people who are given new bodies by the Colonial Defense Forces. So I like this book the best out of the series, right? And it was published sometime in 2005. It really does a fabulous job of envisioning the transfer of conscious and in questioning what identity actually means. It introduces this concept of time dilation and brain pals, as they call it, right? Which they use to communicate with each other without actually talking, right? It sounds eerily similar to the brain-machine interfaces which we are building, like what Elon Musk's Neuralink is working towards. I'm going to use a quote here. "What is it like when you lose someone you love?" Jane asked. "You die too, and you wait around for your body to catch up." So it's a lovely book, the first series, right? The second book is called Ghost Brigades, and it's probably my least favorite of the 3. And yet I love the protagonist, right? His name was Jared Dirac. Now, when the first one spoke about old people signing up to go into the galaxy to fight in an alien war, the second book focuses on the special forces of the CDF. Now, who are special forces, right? These are elite soldiers who have been built as perfect fighting machines, right? To fight the alien races, and they're created from the DNA of dead humans. Okay, so imagine if you are born into an adult body and you unravel experience over time with the help of your brain pal, and being integrated with your unit, with the other special forces, you continue to feel and hear everything that the other person does. They're fast, they're strong, they're green, and they're socially inept. It sounded a bit like this Avatar, the blue avatar beings, right? Sound very similar to that. Anyways, Jared Dirac is this superhuman hybrid, right? Who was created from the DNA of humanity's greatest traitor, Charles Bhutan. And he's the scientist who has joined the enemy alien races and knows the CDF's biggest secrets. Another thing I found very interesting is how the alien races are described, right? From the Oban to the Khonsu, beyond just the physical characteristics, which is what most movies do, right? They just show the alien without necessarily talking about what is it that makes them unique to their race. Here's a quote from that book, the second one. "Fear isn't the desire to avoid death or pain. Fear is rooted in the knowledge that what you recognize as yourself can cease to exist." Fear is existential, right? So finally, let's go to the third book of the series. This is called The Last Colony, and now it kind of circles back to John Perry and his wife, who's from the Special Forces, called Carl Sagan. Now, they've been recalled from their life of tranquility and retirement from this place called Huckleberry to be the leaders of this new colony which humanity wants to set up, called Roanoke. Now, this Roanoke is supposed to be populated by settlers across major human worlds. Now, this focuses more on the life of the settlers in the new colony at large in the first half, and in the second half, it spirals into this full-blown war between the worlds of sorts. Now, how does Perry protect his family and the colony with the limited information that CDF has been providing them without turning traitorous, forms the rest of the story. Now, Scalzi also has this very dry sort of humor across his books, which I really liked, all right? And finally, to close with a quote from that third book, "I seem to be good at speaking the politician's language," Szilard said. "Apparently, there's an advantage around here to being mildly socially retarded, and that's the Special Forces for sure." And finally, right, to wrap up, I sometimes wonder what makes a good sci-fi book, right? And when I was thinking about it, it struck me that it's primarily two main things. One, the journey into the future, right, that the author manages to take us along, where you explore these thought experiments. For example, what is it to live in a world where the consciousness of one person is transferable? If my consciousness is in another body, what is me, right? Is it the body? Is it the conscious? What happens if, say, there's a centralized control of our thoughts, similar to like a Black Mirror scenario, right? All of these are these experiments which sci-fi books try to look into. And the other part is the fact that across all of those experiments, it kind of retains or tries to retain the characterization of what it essentially means for us to be human. So yeah, I absolutely love the genre, as you can clearly see. So do pick up the books, Old Man's War series by John Scalzi, and also let me know if you have other sci-fi books that you've absolutely enjoyed. Yeah, I hope this has been fun to you. Talk to you guys soon. Yeah, take care. Bye.